we are continuing with the next panel. And actually today over the various panels, what we witness is that the future of work is happening right now in this moment. We also witness that it's not only changing the way how we are working, but it's changing also the very foundations of the businesses and institutions themselves. We also witnessed that there is a shift in the power dynamics in the labor market as new generations of workers are entering, expecting for a more inclusive, flexible, and meaningful workplaces with purpose. In this panel, we will be exploring the transformation. How can we support these ongoing transformations? To be more specific, we will be exploring how public policies implemented on national and local level can work together in order to support these shifts in the labor market. We will also question if public policies are enough to support these huge shifts in the labor market, or do we need additional programs and measures that will support and will build the capacities of the business sectors and of the other actors in the ecosystem of the labor market in order to help them to better align with this bigger picture. Today in this panel, we have two exceptional women. Ela Maes, she's with us online. Hi, Ela.
Hello.
She's working as an inclusion consultant in Actiris. It is a regional employment agency which is covering the Brussels and the entire region of Brussels. And we have Lence Kocevska. She's a state advisor for labor market policies in the Ministry of Economy and Labor in North Macedonia. We'll be starting with Ela. She will speak about one very, very interesting program that is implemented by Actiris and that aims to support companies in implementing plans for inclusion and diversity. Ela, thank you once again for joining us, and the floor is yours.
All right. Yes. Okay, perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invite, Alexandra. I'm very happy to be here with you today. So today I will give you a small introduction on what we do as a diversity department in Actiris in Brussels, and how we help employers building up a diversity and inclusion strategy. So very short, what is Actiris? So Actiris is the public service for job seekers and employers in the Brussels region. So we are really committed to increasing the employment rate of Brussels residents by focusing on two main tasks. So the first one is quality guidance and services for job seekers. And the second one is free service for employers who are really looking for employees in the Brussels regions and in larger Belgium as well. So we have multiple different departments within Actiris, but I'm part of the diversity department. And so we link very close to the second main task of Actiris, this free services for employers. So we as a diversity department really provide advice to Brussels-based employers from both the public and the private sector who want to make diversity and inclusion an asset for their company. And this, of course, and I want to start with that, is all set in a legal framework. So I will give you a short review, a bit of the history of our diversity plans. So it actually all goes back to the 90s when the first real quantitative studies were done in Belgium, which showed that a lot of job seekers on the Brussels labor market experienced discrimination in their job search. And this led to the creation of a first social pact. So in this social pact were players from the local government, the Brussels government, also social partners, There were researchers from universities in this, and also members of public and private companies, to really address this discrimination problem on the labor market, and that something should be done to go against this. And that's actually when Actiris got the first mandate to implement this in the Brussels regional field, with the result that the first consultants in our department were hired in 2006, and they started to create really this operational framework on how to promote diversity and inclusion on the Brussels labor market. Of course, again, with all these players from the social pact, so really working together with the government, with the Ministry of Economy in Brussels. So this framework was approved then in 2007 and got implemented in the Brussels regional law in 2008. And at the end of this first year, the consultants who were there back then, they created the first 16 diversity plans with companies based in Brussels. So this Brussels regional law, so there's a framework on the equality of the treatment in the job field. And secondly, there is a law dedicated to the promotion of diversity within Brussels companies from 2008. This one is also reviewed a little bit in 2019. And actually, this law really sets out the framework for our department and also the companies who work together with us. So for example, it states that private companies do it voluntarily, but public companies are obliged in the Brussels law to have a diversity and inclusion strategy. It also sets out that we from Actiris have to provide financial support to the companies. And for example, that I as a consultant am obliged to give free tools, access to a network, etc. So it sets out all these rules in this law. So that's a brief history, but I think it's important for you to really understand that it's really embedded in our regional Brussels law, and that multiple players were also involved to create this diversity department in the first place and to create these tools. And these tools are, of course, the next thing I want to talk about with you, because I think that will interest you the most. Like, what is this diversity plan and what do we do? So we've created with our department 3 different diversity plans. And before I explain the differences, it's important for you to know that the structure of the plan actually always follows these domains and target groups, regardless of the type of plan. So when it comes to the domains that we focus on in the plan, these are really the typical domains of the management. So it's recruitment and selection, HR policies, internal communication, and awareness raising. And the final one, external positioning, so which is really your positioning as a company towards the outside world, your clients, your providers, etc. The target groups are definitely not randomly chosen, but statistics on the Brussels labor market permanently show, unfortunately, that these groups with these criteria experience the most discrimination on our labor market, have the hardest time to find work in Brussels. So that's why we focus in our plans on these specific groups. So for Brussels specifically, that's people from a non-Belgian origin. And as you might know, Brussels is the second most diverse city in the world. So we have a lot of people with a non-Belgian background. So it's really important to specify this group. Then also people with a lower degree or with no degree, or a degree that is not recognized, because with these people from all these backgrounds, they often have a degree in their country where they are from, but which is not recognized in Belgium, which is a big problem on our labor market. Then you also have the younger people who experience difficulties, and the more experienced, so 45 plus. And another group is gender, so not only the equality between women and men, but for example, also people from the LGBTQI plus community, parents on the work floor, mothers specifically, etc. And then the final group, people with a disability, a visible or a non-visible disability. So it's important to keep in mind. So our statistics in Brussels have shown that these criteria are important to focus on, but this can change in your own country. So it's important to measure these data and have these data before you create a plan. So the 3 tools then that we have the mini plan, we have the global plan, and the thematic plan. So If a company chooses to do the mini plan, this one focuses really on one specific domain or one target group, as I've shown in the previous slide. So this means, for example, if a construction company has 90% men and only 10% women working in the company can say we do a mini plan and we focus on the recruitment of more women. So for this plan, we provide a subsidy of €5,000 to roll out all the actions from Actiris. And there is a requirement of minimum of 4 actions that the company has to do. The second plan, the global plan, takes more a global approach over the different domains and the different groups. So there we have the minimum requirement of 8 actions, and we do a system of 50% co-financing. So this means if all the actions cost, for example, €20,000, we from Actiris give the company 10,000, and the company itself put also 10,000 in, with a maximum of this 10,000. So it can pay less, but more, but it always stays this €10,000. Then the thematic plan is actually a follow-up plan. So for companies who are already doing their second or third or fourth plan with us, they can opt for a thematic plan, but this actually follows the same strategy as the global plan with the same financing system to have. Okay, so how do we roll out these plans with companies? And to explain you that, I'll show you our diversity circle that you see on the slide. So if a company is interested to roll out a plan, we always start with a meeting with one of the consultants. Today, that's me for you, wherein we explain how we work and what our tools are. And if the company gives a go to start, we always ask them to create an internal diversity working group, which consists of a couple of colleagues, preferably from different departments, ages, experiences, and genders. And with this group, we as consultants will plan multiple workshops to come together to an action plan. And in these workshops, we focus first on a quantitative study. So how is the workforce composed? So how many women, men are working? What are the age differences? Do all the employees have degrees? Yes or no? Are there people with disabilities, for example? So we first ask for all the data. And starting from the data, we will do also a qualitative research together with the work group. So we will really question with a couple of methodologies, what are the strong points already? So what is the company already doing in terms of D&I? And what are the points of improvement? And of course, these points of improvement are for us the starting point to write an action plan. So it's really in co-construction with the company. So after this process of workshops, after finishing writing the plan will be approved within Actiris. We have a special jury for that as well. And when it's positively approved, the company can start rolling out the action plan, and they have 2 years for that. After the 2 years, we do a final evaluation. In the meantime, they can always call me if they have questions. I can help them. But after 2 years, there is a final evaluation. And if that one is positive, they can opt for a label. And this label, diversity label, is handed out by the Brussels Minister of Work. So there you see again this close working together with the Minister of Economy. So he hands out these diversity labels every year. And then the company can start again with the process if they want. So here you see a picture of the yearly diversity label award ceremony that we do. It's really fun. All the companies can also network together. We have some inspiring speakers there. The minister is there. So it's really important for us to keep on organizing this. Then, of course, the type of actions we do, I don't have time today to zoom in on all the different actions we do. It's always tailor-made, and yeah, it's really based on what the company wants. We have some general examples, which are in all the domains that I've mentioned before. Maybe we can send this presentation afterwards so you can slowly go through the actions, and if you still have questions, we can talk about it. But I think for you, what is more interesting is actually some key insights from what we've learned. What is the impact? What are the lessons learned from our service, as we are already doing this for almost 20 years? We are actually working right now on an impact study with a university in Brussels. The results are not yet in, but we ask with every evaluation our companies to really respond to the impact question as well. So I took out some of the most interesting quotes, and they actually come back all the time. So what a lot of our companies say that the impact is that it has become a topic of discussion within the company. So the plan not only raised awareness, but it sparked real conversations. So employees were more willing to share personal stories, but also ask critical questions. They provided suggestions. So really the topic of D&I became alive within the company, and it sparked these conversations. Other companies told us it's not a standalone project anymore, D&I. It really became an integrated part of the broader HR and CSR policies. So inclusion was considered more systemically at various levels, so in policies, in documents, so not standalone. Other companies told us that the ambitions were not merely aspirational anymore, but were really translated into tangible initiatives. So it helped to set priorities, also distribute responsibilities and monitor progress, which is really important. And it created a common framework. So it ensured really sustainable change, not just quick wins here and there, but really a framework wherein the company could work. Then some companies, and that's of course the most interesting for us then, is that they saw really measurable improvements in the composition of their teams. So recently I evaluated a big tech company in Belgium, and they had not so many women in management positions before, but at the end of the project, they almost had 50-50% on higher level. And it was because they did a lot of actions in their plan to improve this gender equality. So that's really, really good for us to see that it has like this measurable improvements as well from time to time. Then what we also heard is that companies who did a satisfaction survey after the plan, that they saw that this plan really increased the sense of engagement for the employees and well-being, and that it resulted in higher employee satisfaction. So that's also really important and a very important impact measure. So then to close up my presentation, what were the key lessons that we've learned? So the first one is, for us as consultants, what is really important is meten is weten. It's a typical Dutch expression. To measure is to know. We need data to start from. Sometimes companies, they want to start, but then they want to do all type of actions around gender equality, but actually gender equality is pretty good, but they have no people with another background or no one with a disability. So it's important to start with data to go in the right direction. Then the second and the third one, they go hand in hand. So you can have big vision and dreams, but it has to be translated in really practical solutions. Employees have to feel that there's really action going on. And there's where our plan helps to translate these big visions and dreams that they have into some tangible solution. Then the fourth one, we really need this network. We as consultants work closely together with the cabinets of work. We work closely together with the equality bodies that we have in Belgium. We also work together with private companies who also provide D&I services. It's important that we learn from each other and share our experiences. Then the fifth one, being transparent and communicate is super important. If we come in companies where they have no clue what they want to do, or they are not transparent on what they will do or why it is important, then we often see that it gets dusted on the plan and it has no effect. So constant communication is really important. Of course, confidentiality, we ask people to be in a working group with us, but we guarantee this safe spaces. People can give anonymous input. And of course, problems need to be named in order to decide the right actions. But individuals nor companies need to be exposed during the process that we do writing the action plan. Then co-construction and management endorsement is a make or break. That's really true. You have to have all levels on board. We work really bottom up from Actiris on, but if we don't have a go from higher management, we see that it gets blocked at a certain point. So it's important to have everyone engaged from the highest to the lowest level and vice versa. So really important. And then the last one, focus on cultural change. For us, it's more important to work on the first three domains, so the recruitment, the HR, and the internal communication. External positioning, we don't focus so much on that for a first plan. And at the end, window dressing will rule itself out if you make the analysis properly and the action plan properly. So that was my presentation. Thank you for listening. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there. I want to interact with you now if you have questions, but I will see them in the chat or later on. So thank you.
Very, very inspiring presentation. We met Ela, it was 2 years ago. We went in Actiris on a study visit, but since then, these plans that Actiris are working and are with companies stayed with us, and we try to promote them. Yes, I would like to leave the floor. Maybe if there are some questions from the audience. For, in the chat, there are questions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
One. So I see one question. So is there a specific slide? So no, our service is completely free from Actiris. So we just have this subsidy system that we've created with the government, so that that companies can use. But my consulting or all the other tools that we create, we give them for free. If that answers your question.
Probably, yes. But since we are running out of time, if there are some additional questions for Ela, we can like gather them, and yeah, we can arrange them to be addressed in a separate meeting or consultation. Ela, thank you once again for joining us, and we will keep in touch.
Yes.